more than once a day, because then essentially you're just killing your first post if you post. When it comes to other social media, say like Instagram, again, once a day, but you could do twice a day really, but I would stick to once a day. It's your best bet. Yeah, Facebook's probably the same.
Yeah, when it comes to a lot of different platforms, they all have different shelf lives.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes to Twitter, so I see people like tweet once every hour or something like that. They keep like running and rolling. When it comes to Facebook, it is like you said, once a day. The reason why this happens is mainly due to the fact that the algorithm itself in each of these platforms prefers your last post. And when that post goes in, the newer the content is, the better it is. I think you can find that in any, if you were looking at, any searches, if you're searching for content on Facebook, searching on LinkedIn, they preference the newer the content is. So that's why people always say you need to keep creating content, keep doing it, keep pushing it out there. Because if you don't do it enough, and if you don't have fresh content, you'll just get pushed further and further down.
Yeah, I mean, with Instagram and Facebook, there's been studies, especially, and then even LinkedIn, that show that people's second post normally is like, they see a 50% drop off in, the engagement that they're actually getting. So that's something to really think about when you're posting. Yeah,
it's not bad if you've got an underperforming post and you kind of want to go for it, because not every post is going to be a hit, is it?
No, of course not. You could always boost it, but then that's not organic, is it? So
yeah, so I mean, when it comes to, I think Facebook, when it comes to boosting your posts, they say to do it better, it actually performs better in ads a lot of the time. But that could have been a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And the reason why it used to hinder a lot of company posts was because they wanted, obviously, the boosted post revenue. So you couldn't really get much traction unless you really had great content. You could get pushing stuff out there.
Of course.
So in a way, it's better to just keep posting, but knowing what's optimized with your post to do it. Because there's a certain way on LinkedIn, especially, where it'll prefer different formats of posts.
Oh,
so
yeah.
If you post just like links, if it takes you off the platform, it doesn't perform very well. If you do images, it does a little bit better. Currently, it was native video. It's really gone on a big spree, but that's kind of been taking a back step, because I feel like documents are a big thing currently at the moment.
Yeah, like the PDF documents as well. I mean, when Instagram comes to Instagram, Facebook is the same. They don't want you to leave their website, so that you don't want to be posting stuff like that. And again, just to touch on it, it's like whatever they say, like it's like whatever's the flavour of the month, whatever they've just released, that's what the sort of type you should be posting. And
also, they come up with Reels, didn't they?
Yeah. And that for ages is always a great one to use. Like carousels are so good, like because it takes time for people to go through, and it's showing that they're engaging as well. But yeah, mostly I'd say to focus on when to post. That's the biggest side, I'd say. Knowing what time your audience is viewing your content. I mean, Instagram has quite a good tool in their insights where you can see, it literally shows you in such a visual graph what time the people are looking at your content, and that's just when you want to post, really.
Yeah, they come with a lot of insights, and they've got a lot of tools to show your graphs to see when your post is performing in a certain way. And it can be a bit daunting to look at all that information, because you think to yourself, oh, I've got, I just did really well. Why did it do really well? And you need to kind of play a game of, I'll post it this time and see how it works.
Yeah.
But you can cut out the middleman if you understand your audience for a start, what they're doing.
Yeah, of course.
If you've got an international audience, obviously the time of day is going to differ wildly.
Massively, yeah.
So you need to know when to post for them. I think the reason why we sometimes do webinars so late is so we can grab more of an international audience and grab people in from everywhere. So and it helps out people not just abroad, but at home as well. Because if we're posting sometimes later in the evening, it gives more time for them to consume our content. And anyone watching this live, we do it at lunchtime because we want to hopefully we'll see you with a sandwich in your mouth while you're watching this. And then we go off and have our lunches. But yeah, there is a reason why you should post at certain times. It's because you want to I keep saying word optimize. It is a good word, but you want to make sure that people are looking at you at that certain time.
That's the best, like that could be argued that's the only time you should post on LinkedIn twice a day, is if you are targeting, say, an EU audience or an American audience. That's probably the best time, I'd say, for that. But yeah, I'd say the going back to the insights and tools, I would always take it with a pinch of salt, really, because you've got to think that Facebook and Instagram want you to pay to boost stuff. They want you to put money into it. So I'd always, it's a good indicator, but take it with a pinch of salt, because you never know if they're just making you look like you're doing the best you've ever done just because you're like, oh, I'm doing amazing. Maybe I should put some money in, or, that's what I'd say for that.
Yeah, they have professional profiles now on Instagram. I saw, because they have business pages, and then you can create a professional page. I think that's for influencers. And I agree. A lot of the time, they will give you more traction if you've boosted a post, and they'll know that you've got money to spend towards it. There is ways to leverage the algorithm and knowing what prefers, what works out, how to get into like the trending topics, and there are ways to get into them without having to pay any money at all. But it does require a lot of trial and effort, and it does require you being on top of your content game.
Do you have a strict schedule of when you would be posting, say for LinkedIn? Is there a best time for you and your audience?
Yeah, I believe that always early in the mornings. I think between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. it's really hard, because you're obviously got fuzzy minds. If you've missed that window, because obviously you're a human being and you need
unless you're a morning person.
Unless you're a morning person, which I'm half a morning person, to be honest. When I wake up, I'm awake and I do stuff, but I know for a fact that I could miss stuff if it's too early. I've got the fuzzy brains. So 7 till 8. If you miss that window, there's the afternoons post around 2 p.m, which does well. And then late at night, when we say around 7 or 8. If you want an American audience, it's 10 o'clock, because I think that's later into the times are better. But that's usually the times that we post, especially if we're going to advise to anyone. If you join any agency that does it for you, they'll tell you those are probably the best times to do it.
Times,
Obviously, it differs with which platform you're on. That's for LinkedIn, because professionals, if you're looking at a working person, they're not going to be looking on LinkedIn. They're not going to be consuming your content in between those very important hours. Like, I don't think anyone's going to be, any business owner currently is going to be watching any video between 12:30 now because of a budget. So you're understanding events are happening, and you're understanding when people are going to be looking at their phones.
Just been on it, That's it, I'd say for Facebook and Instagram as well. Morning, I always used to think it was lunchtime, but it turns out that morning, especially for my audiences, is the best time. So as long as I'm posting between 9 and then I get towards lunchtime, 11 cut-off point, there's no point in me posting after that. So I've had clients before when I'm running social media for them saying, oh, can you post this right now? I've got something, can you post it? And I'm thinking I say to them, look, sorry, there's no point in doing it because no one's going to see it. You might as well wait till the next day, especially if it's in late in the evening. Because
it's really important to them, and they're thinking, we're going to get this out.
I'm really excited to someone see it, and it's like, no, just be patient, wait till the next day, and instead of, it'll be 4, 5, 6 times the amount of people will see it. It's very important. Because
of the amount of lifestyles, that's why lunchtimes can be a hard sort of thing to grasp, because some people have their lunches at 10 a.m. if we've got the Alexes in the building watching.
10:30.
And we've got other people who don't have lunch at all and then skip it because they're just working too hard, which is, I don't advise. You should definitely have your lunches.
You need breaks.
It keeps you going. But that can differ anywhere between 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So it is hard to try and catch people on their lunch breaks. So mornings, like I say, is really good, and afternoons is really good, because it's when you're just sort of browsing, you're scrolling through.
You can get into a routine of it as well. That's going to help you, isn't it? Naturally, you find the best times and you're posting in those times. And you can kind of wire your brain to be like, all right, this is the time. Or you could schedule it.
Yeah, we were talking about scheduling earlier. We was wondering if scheduling is good or bad, essentially. Which we can probably talk about in our next slide, because it's a huge big deal if it hinders your content or not, and how to schedule, when to schedule it, and what schedulers to use, because there's so many out there. But if you are trying to save some time, it is good. But it depends on the schedule you use. If the platform that you're scheduling, not prefer scheduling, but if it will hinder your post if you schedule. So there's a lot of there's a lot of nuances with it.
You've got to think say if it's like LinkedIn, or you're doing your personal profile, or it's your business, then you've only got the one. Do you know what I mean? But scheduling is such a good tool for someone that runs multiple businesses. If you're doing 7 or 8 different businesses, social media, then you physically posting you're gonna struggle to keep on top of it, I think.
If you're looking to post on LinkedIn and looking to generate business on LinkedIn, if you're using a scheduler, it can be, if you're not looking at your LinkedIn profile at all, it's going to hinder you because you're not going to be able to follow up on anyone asking important questions to you, who's liking your posts, messages that could be missed as well. So if you're scheduling for a LinkedIn profile, you probably should not do it, especially if you're looking to generate leads and trying to sell on LinkedIn, because you need to keep on top of people.
It's down to the whole automation argument, isn't it?
It's automation can be a blessing and a curse a lot of the time, and we definitely don't recommend it if you're trying to use it for LinkedIn lead generation. But yeah, I mean, it's a way to save some time, but the amount of impact it could have on your profile would kind of negate all the time saving it could do. But people swear by it. They're like, oh yeah, I'll just send out all these messages on this robot and it'll be fine. And then they struggle to talk back to them because they have to catch up with 50 different people asking them questions, and then someone really important could miss a message.
It's just, the argument's the same for, say, Instagram and Facebook, because if you're automating it and you kind of get into this slump of just at this time I'll get all my posts done for the week and automate them, then you're less likely to look at who's engaging with your content. You know, you're not going to respond to the people. You know, you could be missing out on business just because you're ignoring it. You know.
When it comes to content creators and influencers in general, their posts actually, I think a lot of them, I have managers who go through and see which posts to use. There was actually, I forgot the celebrity, but they got in trouble for not showing that their prize draw was fair and biased.
Okay.
So when it comes to some of those posts, it can get you in trouble with what you're posting.
What? So were they just, you saying if they did their competition or giveaway?
They did a giveaway,
and they just gave it to their mate and then didn't say.
They didn't say like who won it or like how they were going to do the draw. Okay. And it really messed up.
People thought that they've just given it to their mate or someone they know. That sounds.
Yeah, I think it's one of the guidelines that shows that they didn't give enough evidence that it was unfair and unbiased. So when people trying to, get some traction with their content and posting, do a giveaway, there's a lot of, ground there, which could be uncovered. And it's the same with if you're posting regularly and you promise something to someone or promise some value in your content. If it's not there, but you're kind of just shoveling loads of content out there, it can really smack your profile down.
Yeah, of course.
So if you're trying to post and you're posting and you don't know how much to post, make sure you are posting value as well, but also check the times you're posting and try not to basically hinder yourself by posting too much.
And check, like I said, your audience, use these tools to find out when your audience is watching and, just, stick to it. Routine's good.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming down, Josh.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I hope the budget goes well today. If you're watching this, if you're watching Maverrik Live, don't forget to subscribe and like. This is live, so obviously those mental fogs are going to come. Once again, Josh, thanks for coming down, and thank you for watching. If you're watching on a replay, check us out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a live show at 12:15. This has been Maverrik Live. Have a great day.